Hi, I'm Father Bob Mertes, and I'd like to thank Sabrina for this opportunity to talk about a subject that's very dear to me, namely about my Japan experience, which I enjoyed for 6 years. And I'd like to read a few things regarding how it came to be and what I experienced while I was there, and something about the art of sumie, which I'm going to expose to you. That's painting, Oriental painting. I have made artistic expression part of my life through the study and practice of Chinese brush painting and calligraphy, an art form I have admired and been fascinated with for many years. However, formal exposure to this medium of expression came to me only in 1971, when, with 3 other seminarians from our college in Epworth, I had the opportunity to participate in the exchange program just initiated between our Nansen University in Nagoya, Japan, and Divine Word College in Epworth, Iowa. We had more than enough challenge just to learn to speak the language and to execute the kanji, which is the written characters. But in my heart, I harbored the desire to do sumie, which is ink drawings, which is quite a different thing than everyday writing. When I returned to the States, I had to abandon both ambitions for several years, until 1980 to be exact. Then, while teaching at our seminary at East Troy, Wisconsin, I discovered a wonderful secret through Tony Krines, who was also teaching there. Somehow, in a conversation, I mentioned my fondness for East Asian art. He said, well, in that case, why don't you contact Sister Charlene Chang, a friend of mine living in Milwaukee and teaching at a college in there. I contacted Sister Charlene, and she informed me that Sister Clara Han, back from her studies in Taiwan, was offering a course in Chinese brush painting at nearby Cardinal Stritch College. I enthusiastically enrolled in St. Clara's class and was delighted to discover that she came originally from Shantung, China, and was therefore acquainted with the SVDs. In fact, some of her relatives had worked at our Yanchafu mission as embroiderers with the SSPS sisters, or as catechists with Father Fernandomitz. She earnestly informed me that the local Christians there hailed him as a saint way before the Pope pronounced him blessed. And Fernandomitz is an inside thing for SVDs. He was our first Chinese missionary, and he was a European, but he looked so Chinese, and he adapted so well to the culture that many people think he's Chinese, but he was really from Tyrol. He's well known in our circles and greatly admired. So, and when Sister told me she found out I was SVD, and she said, oh, she said she's from Shantung, where he had worked, and she said, oh, and Father, I don't charge you. You don't say no, but don't tell the others. I don't charge you. He says, I will take care of you. We know Father Fernandomitz very well, so I didn't argue with him. Thus began for me an on and off opportunity through the years to pursue instruction in this fascinating and challenging medium. One of the secrets students learned from Sister Clara is that the venerable technique of Chinese brush painting is aimed at soothing fragile nerves, every bit as much as providing an outlet for creative expression. Its aim, she said, is to create a serene spirit as well as a beautiful picture. To accomplish this end, the beginner's first lesson is learning to meditate before painting while preparing the ink. Call it that medium pomoko. It means you think of the subject, I want to do this bamboo or that building or that whatever, that tree, and then you execute it pomo in one stroke. So you have to, it's very difficult. I can't do it too well. I'd rather take what they call, what's the other one? I forget the name now, but it's more detailed. You take your time, put linear and so on, especially like willow trees. They're very detailed, all the leaves on there, and I like that better. So anyhow, but some can just whoop, 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 and make a nice, I envy that. I can't do it. I have to take my time and be very thorough. Traditional Chinese ink comes in a solid form, looking somewhat like a domino chip. Its liquid state is obtained by grinding this chip on a moistened stone especially made for this purpose. It takes 5 to 10 quiet minutes using the same repetitive motion to blend the ink for use. One unwinds at the same time. That's crucial because brush painting cannot be done properly unless the artist is relaxed and able to move arm and brush as one. It's a marvelously effective technique. Regrettably, when I transferred from East Troy to Pittsburgh, I was unable to find the time or the opportunity to continue painting lessons. Not until years later, when I was assigned to our Washington House of Studies, was I able to do so. Traditionally, students in Chinese painting have been required to prepare themselves by first studying calligraphy for several years, for the strokes used in calligraphy are the basic techniques used in painting. A good calligrapher is also a good artist, and calligraphy is, in fact, considered the higher of these two art forms. My teacher, Professor Chang Yi, an instructor of Chinese art at the Smithsonian Institute in Washington, D.C., was a wonderful syncretist to eliminate years of calligraphic study, and he carefully developed the four-stroke method, which contains all aspects of basic strokes necessary for painting. And also, he came from our university in Taipei, so he was, well, again, in contact with the SVDs. But he had a marvelous thing. Usually you have to take great care to make like a mountain or something. He had the four strokes was you go vroom, and then you continue vroom, and you can elevate very quickly. And he eliminated a lot of calligraphic study, as I say. So he was marvelous, and I'm going to continue on here. Unfortunately, he died before he could finish his book. Students of this method are expected to practice every day for at least 3 months, and therefore thereafter as often as possible until a feeling of fluency is developed in forming the strokes. Tragically, Professor Chang developed another form of stroke, one which rendered him paralyzed on the left side of his body. He was unable to speak or move his hands, save for a slight movement of one of his fingers. What a cross this must have been for this gifted man. He died after enduring this affliction for 3 months and was unable to complete the book he was writing on his method of painting. Deprived of his guidance, I nevertheless tried to follow his dictum, practice a little every day. I also tried to follow the advice of Goethe. A person should hear a little good music, read a little poetry, and see a fine picture every day, in order that worldly cares may not obliterate the sense of the beautiful which God has implanted in the human soul. So, amen.